Thanks for having me, Shadwick. A
So-
lot of people don't know that about you. Shad is short for Shadwick.
It's short for Shadwick, according to Russell Peters. Well, as a comedian, I'm surprised you didn't gravitate towards rapping at some point.
No, you know what?
You got the quick wit. You got.
Yeah, but I have a horrible voice. Like for rapping, I don't sound good at all.
So, what did hip hop mean to you as a kid growing up?
Well, hip hop gave me an identity as a kid, you see. And back in the 80s, you were only allowed to be one thing. Like this generation's so lucky that they're allowed to like Britney Spears and they're allowed to like Mobb Deep at the same time. Back in the day, it was not like that.
You had to pick and shut down a whole part of
everything
yourself.
else didn't exist, you know. And before that, I was like a little rocker kid, so I was into Iron Maiden and Kiss and Zeppelin and all that stuff. And when I discovered breakdancing and hip hop, I was like, oh, I still like that, but I was like in the closet with my rock.
We're gonna pull that out a little bit later, but I feel like it was like that for a lot of black and brown kids growing up. You know, this is where you saw a reflection of yourself that was relevant.
Yeah, and also back then it was it's how you identified what color you were on, you know. And if I said I liked rock, they'd be like, "Oh, he thinks he's a white boy," and I wanted to be a black kid, so I was like, "I like the hip hop," which I did, and all my friends were black kids, so that worked out really well.
Kids these days have it a little bit easier.
A little bit easier, but they have to like many things because there's not enough good things in one genre nowadays.
So the breakdance career never panned out, but you got to be a pretty good DJ, scratching. What was your DJ name?
I never had one, you know. I went through
That's like the most fun part of being
I know.
I
There was one time where I was going to call myself Danger Russ.
Nice.
And then I remember I was about to make a mixtape, and I took that LL Cool J song "Dangerous," and I was breaking it down. I was like, "Dangerous, dangerous," but then it didn't sound that clean or good. You know? And then I was like, I'll just go with DJ Russell.
And then you would have had the Akon song later. You would have had so many dangerous things.
Yeah.
So as a DJ, what do you listen to? What do you listen for in hip hop? The beat, the lyrics?
I've always been a beat guy. Lyrics came secondary. But beats, a lot of times when I would make my own little mixtapes, a lot of times I would just play the instrumentals of songs because I like the beat. I like bobbing my head. I like the sound of the boom bap, you know? Boom,
And that's still your favorite sound?
I still dig that sound a lot, yeah.
All right, well, the lyrics and the beat of our first song is why many consider it a hip-hop classic. Let's play a bit right now.
Make it tumble and stumble, and a rumble just crumble. And I'm still calm and humble. You need another helping hand to swing on. I stand alone, but still you gotta bring on your Batman and Robin, Cagney and Lacey, Starsky and Hutch, but they still can't face me. And if I may make this one thing here clear, that's for you not to come near. Period. For I ain't bugging or delirious. My swift tongue's like a sword, that's how severe it is. And I can slice and dice a Fisher Price MC that thought he was nice into minute.
The sounds of Big Daddy Kane. Warm it up, Kane. You've had Big Daddy Kane over to your house.
Many times.
What's he like as a house guest?
Very neat, tidy, and he is that fly guy that you think he is. He's always that guy.
Dapper.
He came down for breakfast one morning wearing gray and black silk pajamas that looked like a tuxedo, and like velvet dress, like velvet, those nice velvet house slipper dress shoe kind of thing.
That's just how he rolls. He
And that's just how he came down for breakfast.
Amazing.
And I was like, wow, Kane is so fly all the time.
And you are hanging with you hang with a lot of legends of hip hop.
Yeah.
You have them over. Do you have any crazy radio friendly at the same time stories from these folks hanging at your house?
Well, there's actually one night when Kane was over, I think last summer. Kane likes red wine quite a bit, and he'll go through a few bottles in an evening. And anyway, Spinbad was over, and Spinbad was DJing in my DJ room, and then Kane walked over and goes and just grabs the mic and starts freestyling over whatever Spinbad was playing, and then I just happened to jump in and hit record on the Serato. So I've got this little freestyle of Kane that he did when he was drunk at my house one night. So.
Live from the living room.
Live from the DJ room. You've been to the house. You know where the DJ room is.
Yeah. Well, what's that like for you? These guys that you loved growing up, and you're recording their rhymes and their beats live
it's pretty wild,
in your
right?
house.
DJ Premier is at my house right now in Los Angeles, which kind of sucks. Not sucks that I'm here, Shad. I'd much rather be with you than stupid Premier.
Stupid greatest producer of all time.
Yeah, duh.
But that must be such an amazing perk of, all of the success that you've achieved, that you get to hang out with these great artists that you loved as a kid.
Yeah, I don't, and I think the reason they trust me and they like me is because I don't need or want anything from them. I'm sure they had enough people their whole life who wanted, hey, Kane, stay in my house. Maybe you spit a verse for me. It's never that. Or, Primo, I need a beat. It's just like, yeah, go hang out.
You just love the culture.
I do. I love the culture. I respect it. And without it, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
How do you think it shaped you?
It gave me an identity. It gave me an attitude. It gave me a way to walk. It gave me a way to dress. It gave me an attitude. It shaped me at a very malleable time in my life.
Okay, so you said Kane is a good house guest.
Great house guest.
Who is the best house guest of the hip-hop legends that you loved growing up?
They've all been pretty good. I mean, Bumpy Knuckles just left the house last week, and he vacuumed his room, changed and washed his bed sheets, and left mints on the pillow.
Did he think he was working or something?
No, he did that as a joke, but it was pretty funny.
It's awesome. Okay, let's get into a song now. You said you never get tired of hearing.
And they put you on the street. Yeah, you go back, Jack, do it again. Wheel turning round and round. You go back, Jack, do it again.
That was
So many layers to that song, isn't there?
There's a lot of layers to that
That's
song.
what I like about it.
You got that sunny vibe. You got that dark edge, though, with the drug references.
Yeah.
That's what you love about it.
Yeah, all of it. The story, the sounds, the little, whatever that noise is, the that's that wooden thing with the stick, you rub it up and down.
Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald singing on that too.
But that light and dark contrast, is that something you try to do with your comedy too?
Yeah, you want to keep it, you don't want to keep it all bright and fluffy, and you don't want to keep it all dark and angry. You want to walk that line where you're kind of like, is he being dark? Is he being fluffy? We don't know.
Got to give people different colors, especially in a long stand-up set.
Yeah, you don't want it to be monotonous like that. Yeah. You'll fall asleep.
Now, one thing I think is interesting is that was Steely Dan, Michael McDonald singing background vocals. Rappers, hip-hop community in general, has a certain love for the yacht rock.
Yes, because the yacht rock was also dubbed Blue-Eyed Soul.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was a lot, Bobby Caldwell, Steely Dan, Michael McDonald.
Some people,
There's a lot. Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah. Now, DJing is all about timing. There's structure to music. You know that. How would you break down the structure of a joke?
The structure of a joke is, well, here's the difference between comedy and music. Music is 4 and comedy is 3.
Okay.
So everything is in a 4-beat in music, and everything runs in 3s in comedy. Two guys walk into a bar, first guy says to the other one, and then bam. It's always pop, 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 pop. And then music is pop, 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 pop.
Interesting. When did you discover that
I think
through
I
kind
did
of
that out of time even, but it still worked.
Did you
was
discover
juggling.
that? Did you discover that through like trial and error? That
No,
there's-
it's kind of a rule.
okay.
So the rule of comedy is 3.
Okay. Now I'm going to take this back for a second to 1994 for our next song.
Ziggy Smalls is the illest. What? Ziggy Smalls is the illest. Ziggy Smalls, Ziggy Smalls, Ziggy Smalls is the illest. Yeah. Ziggy Smalls is the illest. Live from Bedford Stuyvesant, the livest one, representing BK to the fullest.
He shed Cabango.
Live vocals from Russell Peters. He's on the hook on my next track.
Word.
If you're just tuning in, we're inside another edition of the Q playlist with lifelong b-boy and sometimes comedian Russell Peters. Where does Big stand on your all-time list?
He's my number 1.
Number 1 of all time.
For me.
Why?
Storytelling, flow, able to ride a beat, subject matter.
He's got the versatility.
Yeah, I just, even when he did the song with Bone Thugs, he out-Bone Thugged them.
He did
You
have
know what I mean?
Bone
He
Thugs.
did. He out-Bone Thugged Bone Thugs.
Had the melody in there and the crazy
it
rhythms.
was. I mean, that was a testament to how great he was and probably could have been.
When I think of my number one all time, I think I got to give it to Eminem.
M's great. M's great.
Because on his best day, it's hard to touch him.
Oh, yeah. I remember the first time I heard Eminem was on a Shabam Sadiq song. And that's the one where he was
Going
talking
underground,
about the fire truck and the tires sucked and blobbity blop and anything else that rhymes with that sound.
I can't remember anyone else who came up in that way of like he was coming up on cassettes of him, tapes of him.
Oh yeah, I remember I had wake up show tapes of him.
The buzz was insane.
Yeah.
Before he dropped anything serious.
Yeah. And then that Shabam Sadiq song was the one that really did it in for me. I was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And I had no clue he was a white guy.
No, there's no way you could have.
Back then.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about structure of comedy when you're writing a joke. There's 3 steps to it. But I've seen you get up on stage and just improvise.
Yes.
Is it the same thing when you're improvising? Same structure, or is it different?
Yeah, you have it's a rule. It's kind of just it's not like you're up there thinking about it. Did I? It's just the flow. It's the way it moves and the way it flows. So you can't fight it. It's just the way it has to happen.
It's okay. I want to ask you about. We've been talking a lot about how hip hop has influenced your comedy. How has comedy influenced hip hop?
Well, the wordplay and the punchlines in hip hop is some of them are funnier than anything I've ever said, and some are funnier than any comedian said. You got guys like Chino XL who always have the oh my God moments when you listen to him. He may not have ever had a hit record in his life and may never have one, but lyrically, that guy has some funny punchlines.
What about skits, rap skits?
I think skits got played out. I think Ice Cube did the best ones because they weren't necessarily funny, but they were really entertaining. They were very theatrical.
Advance the story, like a Kendrick Lamar kind of advancing the plot type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't rank him at all in my world.
Oh wow, we'll dispute that off the mic.
Well, that's because I think it doesn't resonate with me. That doesn't mean he's not good. Just doesn't work for me.
Fair enough. Well, we've been playing a fair bit of rap. Let's change it up for this next one.
The sands of time for me are running low.
That's Russell Peters' treadmill song right there.
That's my treadmill warm-up song. That's you start off at 3 because it's a little slow. Then as it starts to build up, you speed it up to 4.5, and then once it really gets going, you're at around 7.
It's got the perfect arc to it.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden there with "Hallowed Be Thy Name." So, when did heavy metal appear in the Russell Peters timeline?
Well, you got to figure I was a Kiss fan from the age of 6, so that started very early. My first Kiss record was "Love Gun."
Amazing.
In 1977, and I don't think my parents realized what they had bought me. They just thought it was probably thought it was a clown record because it was Kiss and makeup on the cover. I was like, I want that, and they bought it. I didn't even know what it was. I was just like, that looks cool. And I got it home and I played the hell out of that record. And then I was hardcore Kiss for a long time, and then AC/DC came along, and I was like, ooh, what's this? And then Zeppelin was always there, and then Iron Maiden, I was like, ooh, this is good too.
You like the hard stuff? You like the heavy stuff?
I like the heavier stuff, yeah.
What is it about that resonates with you?
I guess it was childhood angst. There was a little bit of hidden anger, but that was a good release because then it wouldn't come out anywhere else.
And hip hop is in a similar vein.
Very similar vein, just a more... that was my adult anger, or angst. But it wasn't so much of an anger then. It was more of a representation. I'm like, this is what I am.
Yeah. It's a little bit different than just pure anger and angst. It's self-expression.
Yeah.
Okay, so that song was written by Iron Maiden's Steve Harris, who did most of the early songwriting for himself. Stand-up is similarly a solo effort.
Yes.
How often do stand-up comedians collaborate with other writers?
Oh, with writers, not so often. I mean, it depends on who you are, but I know I don't. I have one friend who opens for me named Ruben Paul, and he's the only guy I've ever met in this business of 27 years now that has been able to watch my set and fix it for me.
Interesting.
Like he'll be like, hey, you know that bit? You should do that bit here and this bit there. It'll flow a lot better. And then I try it, and by gosh, by golly, he's right.
Why do you think he's the only one?
I don't know. He gets me, I guess, you know?
Other people don't get your voice and what's...
Yeah, he fully understands who I am up there and what I'm trying to do.
Is it
And he's able to spell it out for me in a way where I remember it better.
That must be a huge help.
That's very, very helpful.
Is it kind of taboo for stand-ups to have people helping them with their writing? I mean, in hip-hop, as you know, that's a big taboo.
It's a big taboo in hip-hop. I think it should be a taboo in comedy, too. Unless you're having to do, like, a nightly show, like, The Tonight Show or whatever your show is, that's the only time you definitely need writers because you need to come up with something fresh every day. You need a team of writers for that. But if you're doing your own stand-up special, I think it's about your voice and your opinions and who you are. And if somebody's writing it for you, then who are you?
Yeah. Well, along the same lines, are stand-ups as competitive as rappers are?
Very much so. I would think so. We can't get out there and be braggadocious the way they are. And, the more successful you are as a comic, the less likely you are to brag about something because you don't want to seem disconnected from the audience. You can't be, you can't, I think it's no secret that I've made some decent cash in my time, but do I want to remain being John Q. Everyman? Hell yes, I do. Because the minute I lose contact with what's real, I'm off in La La Land and living in my own bubble, and I don't want that to happen.
Meanwhile, we rappers, though, we can talk about all day. People just love us more.
Yeah, it's funny because rappers talk about things they don't have, but they act like they do. And then, you see guys, I see all these young little rappers walking around with all these tattoos and all this fancy jewelry and gold and cars, and I'm like, where'd you get the money for that? You have one song. And nobody's making the money from that one song like that.
No.
Man, look at Tyga. He's getting everything repossessed.
It's a very fake it till you make it. Exactly as you said, the opposite of comedy.
Yeah.
In
Reminds
that
me of a
sense.
Decisive song. Remember that fake it till you make it, right? Tammy Faye Baker, caked up makeup, whatever the thing is.
Russell Peters knows his Canadian hip-hop.
Decisive's dope, too.
He is. He's
Have
great.
you done a track with him?
I have.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, Decisive's great. He's got his own voice, original
Yes.
voice. So how do you stay grounded then? That's important to you.
I don't know. I think it's up to you. You stay grounded. Either you want to or you don't want to.
Is it the people you keep around you?
It could be the people you keep around you. It could be, it could just be you. It could be, I don't want to lose contact of reality. I'm not into escapism. If I want to escape, I get on the turntables and play music for an hour or two, and that's my escape. Nobody can bother me then.
Okay, back to the theme of competition for a second. What are stand-ups competing for? Is it success? Is it respect?
I would say respect is number one. For me, it's number one.
From peers? Or
Yes. And success is not something you chase in comedy. It's something that should happen if it's the right thing to happen. But if you're chasing it, I think your focus is wrong. My focus was always I would chase the laughter. That's all I ever wanted. I just want an audience to laugh from their gut. And when I hear those types of laughs, sometimes when I'm on stage, I'll get a certain level of laughter, and I'm like, that's what I want. That's that sound. I want to try and maintain that sound for an hour and a half.
What's been the best moment in your career in terms of experiencing that respect?
I don't know. I think I'm always chasing it. So if you're always on the chase for it, you never
You strike
realize.
me. You strike me as hungry.
I'm always hungry.
Do you feel like
you got to stay hungry?
Do you feel like you've gotten the respect you deserve at this point?
I don't know. I don't know what people say about me. I know I got the respect of my fans, and ultimately that's the bottom line. That's really what matters. If other people can say what they like about whatever, and he does this, he does that, but you know what? If it was that easy, everybody would have been doing it.
Mm-hmm. What keeps you hungry at this point? What are you striving for? I'm
striving for that set that makes people go, wow, he's really, wow, that's good. And that's what keeps me moving.
Okay.
What about you?
What keeps me going?
Yeah.
Oh man. What keeps me going is At this stage, it's like I want to contribute.
Okay.
I feel like this stage in my life is like work time.
What about rapping?
Yeah, rapping. Whatever it is. Rapping, doing this, whatever. I just want to like
Because
contribute.
does the audience listening know that you're a dope rapper?
I don't know what they know.
I don't know either, but you are.
Thank you.
Are one of the guys who I always used to say, even before I met you, I was like, oh, that kid Shad's really dope.
Thank you.
I actually bought that album.
I always appreciated that.
the red one. What was the red one?
Yeah, the old Prince.
Yeah.
No, I always appreciated that because I one time I was flying to Vancouver, opened some Air Canada magazine, Russell Peters in there.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what are you listening to? Oh, Shad. I'm like, man, Russell
Yeah.
doesn't got to shout me out, but he's shouting me out.
Yeah. And I didn't even know the kid then. Now that I met him, I would never say these nice things, but
I want
what
to
a degenerate you are.
Okay, I want to ask you a bit about the Jungle Book project you worked with the late Gary
That movie
Shandling.
doesn't offend you, does it? Because you're African?
It does.
Because it's set in India.
Nah, I was about to say, I don't think. But you worked with the late Gary Shandling. on
Yeah,
that.
man.
What was that like?
Gary, I was a fan of Gary forever. And then, we get to the studio and he's there. And we hit it off because we had seen each other in passing at like some fights because he's a big fight fan. I'm a fight fan. Matter of fact, it was the Canelo Mayweather fight. He was up in the stands and I was on the floors and we just waved. And then we get to the Jungle Book and he's the porcupine and I'm playing the peacock. And we have a scene where we're fighting over a stick. And we start talking boxing. We do a little fake kind of thing. And, we stayed in touch. We would always just text each other and I don't know what it was, but, a few days before he passed away, I just kept thinking, I really got to hit up Gary. I just want to, just say what's up. And I didn't. And then because I just figured I was going to see him in 10 days at the premiere for the Jungle Book. And it really sucked. That was a really crappy week.
What else happened?
Rob Ford passed away on the
Yeah.
Monday, Fife on the Tuesday, and Gary on the Wednesday.
Yeah, that was not a good week.
That was a horrible week.
I think that was Brussels that week, too.
Was it that week, too?
I think that was that week, too. Yeah, that was a bad week.
Yeah. Well, that sucked.
A lot of people have been talking about his influence in comedy. What influence did he have on you in your work?
Well, he was just so dry, and it was a natural thing for him. His email, was amazing. His email address was like I need email at whatever it was.
That is really good.
Yeah.
One thing I've always admired about comedians, and I've seen this with you, is the community around comedy. I've seen you go down to a comedy spot, just hang out with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
It's nice to be around people that do the same thing as you.
But I don't see that all the time with music. I see a kind of competition that keeps people away from each other a lot of times.
You mean people that click up nowadays,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's the same in comedy.
Okay.
There's that clique, there's this clique, there, and then there's the rogue ones like myself.
But what I mean is you won't see Jay-Z go down to the open mic in Brooklyn
No.
and freestyle or try out some new songs and then
No.
hang out with the local MCs.
No, because
But you'll see that in comedy.
Jay-Z has the respect of everybody. And if he shows up, it's going to turn into a shit show real quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, a guy like Jay-Z can't do that, but a Ghostface could
That's true.
and probably would,
That's true. That's true.
So it's kind of like, where are you in this scale of things?
And where are you? You called yourself a rogue. What do you mean?
I just say I'm a rogue because, I'm the guy that goes and does things. I don't care what the industry wants you to do. I do what the fans want me to do.
Okay, going to wrap up here. You've been doing comedy for 27 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the Russell Peters biopic.
Mm-hmm.
What song is playing in the credits, closing credits?
I would say Broken Language.
Yes. A forgotten classic, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Smooth the Hustler.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
let me explain why before you play the song.
Yes.
Because there are no breaks in that song. There is no chorus. It's just him and Trigger rapping for the entire 4 minutes of that song. And that's how my brain is constantly. It's moving like that always. There's no breaks. There's no chorus. It just keeps going. So that's what I dig about that song.
Fierce lyricism nonstop, and that's what's going on in your brain. Just words, words, words.
Yep.
Russell Peters, thank you so much.
Thank you, Shadwick.